Hey everyone, it's Kendall with Book Crazy here, and I have a very exciting author interview with Sonya Loveday and Candace Knoebel about their first co-written book, Love Always, which releases very soon. This interview is just a little bit more about the book and about the authors. I hope you enjoy. Now, to start us off, why don't you tell everyone a bit about yourselves? Candace, if you want to go first.
My name is Candace Knoebel, and I'm the author of the Born in Flames trilogy and the Night Watchman series. I like to write, obviously, and I enjoy drinking Red Bull.
I wouldn't call it enjoying it, Candace. I would call it an addiction.
Yeah.
That's okay.
That's me in a nutshell.
That's you in a nutshell. And I'm Sonya Loveday. I am the author of the Cast series and the 6 series. And to Candace's, Red Bull is my coffee. So you don't find me without one of those. I live in Central Florida. I have 2 kids, 2 dogs, 3 cats, and a turtle. And I'm a very avid reader. I love to read, but I don't read as much as I want to when I'm writing. That's pretty much me. I'm boring. Inside my head's not boring, but the rest is kind of boring. Don't laugh at me.
Now, why don't you tell us a little bit about your first co-written book, Love Always, which releases on the 25th of August. So either one of you.
I know, I don't want to start talking over top of her. Do you want to go ahead and start off, Candace? No.
You can go first.
Okay. Tell you about our book. Love Always is set in New York. It's set in the Hamptons. And you have the 2 main characters, Maggie and Philip, who meet by chance, I guess would be the best way to put it, and start out as friends, I guess, would be the key point for them, as they started out as friends, and the relationship between the 2 of them grew from there. We didn't want to start something, I don't know, what would you call it, steamy from the beginning. We wanted something to build and grow between the 2 of them, and I think we did a fairly decent job at delivering that kind of relationship between the 2 of them for the book. Is there anything you want to add, Candace?
Yeah, they have come from opposite backgrounds, and that was huge for them because they both were missing something that they weren't really aware of in their life, and each of them woke them up to what they were missing. So it really, that's basically what you get from the story is watching them, their eyes opening to each other and to the world and the love.
Yeah.
So why did you decide to write it in the Hamptons in New York? What made you decide to make it there?
That was all Sonya. It's because she had Philip's, she wrote Philip's character, so she was the opening scene, and that's just where she picked. We decided that we wanted them to meet at a fancy resort. It was just finding the right location, and that seemed like the most fitting for a high society family, like where they would vacation would be in the Hamptons, so that's what she chose.
Yeah, it's my fault. But it doesn't stay in the Hamptons. It only starts there. The characters get moved around. I wouldn't say a lot, but they get moved as life takes them on each of their paths. Yet still they keep connecting, keep talking.
Yeah, the story spans out over a year's time frame, so it's a lot that happens.
Right. There's a lot that we didn't fill in between that year's gap. It's hard to, because I mean, you can't obviously write a full year's worth of, because they write letters back and forth to each other, so you didn't really want to clutter the middle of the book up with just everyday life. So we tried to pinpoint certain times in their lives to connect them and keep the story moving forward. So we needed that time space in between to hit that mark, that edge of summer mark. Also my fault.
So as Candace said, Sonya wrote Philip's point of view, which means that Candace wrote Maggie's point of view. So how did that come to be? How did you guys pick who wrote which point of view?
Candace really wanted to write Maggie.
She was stuck in my head for like years and years, and Sonya kind of helped me, like, because I write in the paranormal genre, so crossing over into contemporary was a little scary for me because I didn't want to like mess it up any, but I had like a idea in my head for the characters, who they were and stuff, and she kind of like, we had always wanted to write a book together, so it just seemed like the right time and the right idea to use to do that together. And Maggie was like, I don't know, I've been channeling her for years, so you're right.
That inner gypsy. Well, Candace had originally started something, what, a year ago, Candace, was it? At least.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and she had just, the idea had struck her, one of those ideas that hit you in the middle of the night when, you know, you're not sitting in front of your computer, and she typed it out on her phone, right? That was the one that was on the phone? No? That was a different one? Oh, anyways, she had actually put a snippet of what the beginning of this book would have been on her street team page. It's just something that was cluttering her thoughts, just getting it out of her head. And so I told her, I'm like, you really should do something with that. I think there's something there. And she was like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm still writing paranormal. What are, you know, what if I don't nail it like I'm supposed to or it should? And there was a lot of conversation back and forth on it. And it got dropped for a little while. And then she started talking again about it, I would say about 6 months. No.
It was this year.
Yeah, it was a little while, but, you know, she talked about it again. And I said, that's when we decided at that point, let's just take that leap of faith. Let's just do it. We have time right now. I think it would be fun. You know, and then then the talks were, what are we gonna write about? And so, you know, you kind of get that deer in the headlights look, and you're like, I don't know. And I don't, was it you or me that mentioned it, bringing it up? I can't even remember now. But anyways, we ended up talking about what she had put in her notes as far as like starting something else just to get it out of her head. And we took that, she sent me that chapter, 2 chapters, and I jumped in on Philip's part and started the story and sent it to her. And it was just that quick, just back and forth. And it was 2 months and 1 day, and the book was done.
That's very impressive actually. That was like questions that you just answered that I was actually very curious about, because Candace, you know, went from paranormal books into contemporary, and that was a big move for any author to make. And then again, Sonya, you did that as well. You jumped from paranormal to contemporary, but you'd like written your own book. You'd written your own series at that time, so you had more experience with it than what Candace did. But because you guys are like really close and like the best of friends, did you have any problems with co-writing, or did it come really naturally to you?
It was like breathing.
I mean, we literally just, it was back and forth every day. Like, she would write Philip's chapter and then send it to me, and I would read it, and then I would write the next chapter in Maggie's perspective, and then send it to her the next day, and she would read it, and then she would write Philip's, and that's just how we went. And then any kind of like roadblocks that we hit, with like any that we wanted in there or didn't want in there, we would talk and figure it out between each other. You know, should we add this? Do we need this? And I mean, we were really flexible. I definitely think that like we, as we are, eliminate, you know, those kind of problems that could come up between two authors who decide to write a book and want it to go their way. I don't know from, you know, other people if they have issues writing together, but we did.
No, I think we had a solid enough idea of what we were doing and going into it, because I think if we went into it without any, not expectations, but if we went into it having on our idea, it would have been a little harder.
We decided to test everything first, so that made it easier, like, as far as chapter by chapter getting it all the way to the end, because we had an idea where it was going. And even though we did have the idea where it was going, it still completely spun a 180 on us, didn't it, Candace? But that's just the characters.
What happened? We would just roll. Okay, I think you kind of like want me to go this way with the sea, and then cause I would ask her that a couple times because she would like surprise me or I would surprise her, and then it was like exciting. It was like getting a present every single day and like reading a new story every day because we wouldn't discuss what exactly we were gonna do, so you never knew like what you were gonna be reading. So it made it kind of exciting, like, ooh, you know, I didn't see that coming, and then you get to like fill in. It was fun.
It was like read and write.
Yeah.
Mad Libs.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. But it was fun though. And also what helped is the fact that if I wrote something, obviously because you have Maggie and Philip in both chapters, if I wrote something she didn't think Maggie would say, she would go back in and fix it, and it would be what Maggie would say. Same as Philip. So if we had any idea, every day when I would get a new chapter from Candace, I would actually read through her chapter first, make notes or comments or whatever, like, this is really awesome, job on this, or oh my god, I can't believe you did that, or I changed this sentence up a little bit because it sounds more like what Philip would say. She would do the same thing with my stuff. And then once that was done, then we would go into the next clean slate, next chapter, write our part and send it back. So we were kind of like editing our stuff back and forth, but really we never hit any issues.
Yeah.
It was issues that were found after everything was written, that weren't even caught by us. So,
or our editor.
Yeah, or our editor.
Do you
But we got all that
normally
fixed.
do you normally plan your books before you write them, or do you just sit down and write?
I'm a total pantser. I don't know what's gonna happen. My character takes me on the journey, and I'm along for the ride.
Is that for all your books?
Yep. Candace has more of a clear, and she would have to, because it's not real life everyday stuff that happens in Candace's books. Candace is building a world, like, and making it real to you. So she really, like, there's times where she struggles with something, so we'll talk on the phone, and it might take 20 minutes or it might take 45 minutes, but she gets everything out and tries to explain where she's stuck, even though I have no idea what's happening in the book, and she'll work through those issues with her world building. But even she sometimes is like, I didn't see that one coming. So
yeah, I try to like have a somewhat of an idea of where I want to go. I mean, even with the one that I'm writing right now, which is the fourth in the Night Watchman series, I have like the main plot points. I know it's gonna happen, but it's all that in between that I don't really know until I'm like a couple chapters away from that surprise or whatever. So I would say 50-50.
I don't know. If you can sit down and outline your entire book and stick by your outline, you have more self-control than I could ever possess.
Yeah.
I mean, it just never happens that way for me, because the character's like, no, we don't like your idea, so let's change this, and oh, look, the end of your book's different. So, I don't know. I think it makes it exciting. That might sound ridiculous, but for me it is, because you're along for the ride just as much as anyone else is at that point. You're just the first one. You're the test dummy on the roller coaster.
So what was the inspiration behind Love Always? Was there anything that inspired you as to write it, or did it was Candace, it came to Candace and she had an idea, but did anything inspire that idea to start off with?
Yeah. I saw a picture of a girl laying on a court with roller skates on, and that's what inspired it. It just like totally went from there. I mean, it sounds like simplistic, but really that's all that happened. I mean, it's just little things here and there that are like, ooh, you know, whether it be a dream or a lyric in a song that you hear that totally like catches you, or sometimes a picture on Pinterest or something, just like a random photograph, and you're like, oh my gosh, and you have this like whole like, what is she doing? Why is she laying there? And that's kind of where that scene with her laying on I think we ended up putting her on a tennis court, but originally I had her
Oh,
on
it's basketball court.
Oh, was that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because remember, her hair was orange, so he mistaken her for a basketball.
Yeah.
Just as, and the entire book was literally built around that scene.
Yes, of her laying there and him just quick sideways glance of orange and like, oh my god, what is that? And then looking and seeing her, and then coincidentally.
Yeah. Fate.
So can we
Big belief.
expect any more co-written books from you, the two of you? Or are you just going to write?
What we had and for next one, I mean, we didn't plan this to be a series. Each book would be a standalone, and we don't know if anything would happen after the next one. I mean, eventually we're going to write the next one that kind of like picks up from a couple characters that are in Love Always, and it'll follow their story, but I don't know when we're going to do that, because right now she's trying to wrap up the next one in her series, and I'm trying to do the same with mine, but it just depends, I mean, on how the book is received, I think.
Yeah. We have had a lot of interest with a few readers, the ones that have read the ARCs, who've asked about the two characters in Love Always, the other two characters, and we've discussed it. I'm ready to jump back into it whenever, because those two characters, they're
there.
Yeah, they're sitting there. It's making it very difficult right now to do anything with my next book for the 6th series, because there's too much sitting in front of that book. So Mark and Paige are taking a back seat for a little bit, because I can't get in their heads. I don't want to force the next book in the 6th series, because Aiden's book was my favorite, writing it wise, and Mark and Paige aren't coming to me like that, and it's frustrating, because I know people want the next book. I know, I kind of understand what they want to go towards for them, but in the same breath, I don't think I can justify as good as Aiden's or better than Aiden's right now with everything in my head.
Yeah, because the scene, I mean, we've already discussed 2 separate scenes.
Yeah.
And we already pretty much know the major plot point in this one, so I mean.
Yep.
It's hard to walk away from something like that, because it's just like there. It's like you're ready to put that mind dump right out. They just start going, and yeah. So we're struggling in a good way. In a good way.
I think it'll just take. It's just a matter of making up our minds, because we're both like really horrible with making a decision.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of, I don't know, until one of us finally just shakes the other.
That is so true.
Did you guys have a favourite scene that you maybe wrote or read from each other that was your favourite?
In Love Always?
Yeah.
There's a couple of really good scenes.
But don't say too much, because we don't want to ruin it completely, but
I know, I have to warn me, because I'm worse at saying.
Candace will tell you everything. Everything. If you're not careful, she will tell you, because she's so excited about it. It's okay, Candace. You're allowed. Not right now, though. I would have to say, scene-wise, my favorite, one of my favorites in the book is a scene with Maggie and Philip. They're sitting on the edge of a pier, and they're really talking. They're talking, and then they're getting to learn about each other, and it's kind of where everything kind of builds up and brings you the rest of the book. But they're talking about the edge of summer and what is the edge of summer. So that particular scene I really like. What's your favorite scene?
When they're at the lighthouse. Yeah, that's a turning point in their relationship. So, and it, I mean, like the pier one is really good because it's like the start of that, and then the lighthouse, it like goes deeper and really, it like opens a door between them that wasn't open. So it's raw and it's real. So. Yeah. And I also like angsty stuff, so. Yeah. That's true.
So you guys touched on this throughout this interview, but what are you guys writing right now? Are you, well, the both of you are writing something, and can you tell us maybe just a little bit more about that? Or Sonya could struggle at this point because she's stuck.
Well, Candace, do you want to go first?
Right now I'm just working on Everdeep, which is the 4th book in the Watchmen series, following Faye Jackson and her sad struggle with life. And I'm about 9 chapters in. I took a break from it for the 2 months that we were working on Loveday. I thought I could juggle both, but I'm just one of those people that is just contracted when it comes to writing stories, especially with the Night Watchman series, because it's so like detail oriented and it's just so much going on, and I need to be like full focus when I'm working on that book, otherwise I'm gonna miss something. So I've been picking at it here and there, but like Sonya said, with the other 2 that we were thinking about writing, it's those things are right there, and every time I find myself opening up my project, I end up opening up the Word document and just messing with that and doing research, because one of the characters is something that she does on the side, and I've never done it before, so I have to like research it in order for me to know all the terms and stuff. So that's pretty much what I've been doing, is just researching all that. Yeah. Which I know sounds really cryptic, and you're like, huh? Like scratching your head. I don't want to like say too much.
It's just hard when you have characters fighting for attention in your head, I think. And they really are. They're really fighting for it.
Because they're very like aggressive characters.
And they are, yeah, they are, yeah. So that's putting it mildly. They're like, I will be heard. You will put something down for me. So.
Yeah, I think it'll be a fun story. It's going to be very feisty, and it'll be different from both of us. It'll be like crossing a new path with that one too.
Oh yeah.
And we'll be doing it together. So.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be a step out of our comfort zone. But Candace and I talked about it too. It's time. It's time that we can step over that level of comfort and just kind of go for it, and not in an overly drastic way, but in a way that we've never touched base on with any of our other stuff, if that makes any sense. I know I'm being cryptic on that too, but if you read any of our stories, you can look at the line of where all of our characters go as far as like the relationship parts of it, and take it from there without explaining it. But that's, and honestly, I really don't think, if once we decide to do this, it's just like you said, Candace, it's just making that decision to do it, because everything else is going to stop. When we do this, when we sit down to do this, it's going to be just like Love Always, and it's going to be back and forth until we hit that point where we're finished. I really think because it's going to be just that easy to write, just like Love Always was. But it's for right now, because we haven't sat down to do any of that yet. I've been working on trying really hard to get back in the mindset of marking page. I think I've gotten 3 or 4 chapters down now. I'm not liking where the story's stalling out at. I was just having this conversation with Candace yesterday about why I'm having such an issue writing this next 6. And it's probably because it's not on the right path it's supposed to be on. If it was on the right path, it would just write itself almost. So my brain has been kind of rolling all over the place, and I was sitting here, I think it was 2 days ago, and up pops these other 2 characters, not the characters for Candace and I, this from Love Always, but these other 2 characters just kind of jumped up and they're like, hey, let's tell you our story. So just to keep myself actively writing, I sat down with that, and 2 chapters in on it. So I don't know, a lot of irons in the fire.
And then I've got like one last question for you before we move on to the quick fire round. And that question is about events that you guys are attending, any author events or book signings or anything that you guys are attending, basically from now until any that you've done, any that you've got planned for next year. Would you be able to tell us where you're going to be?
You want to do it, Candace?
Yeah, Utopia, that's all we have.
Is that all? Okay.
As of right. Yeah, I mean, I think you've put in stuff, haven't you? But I don't know.
There was a couple that were just recently here because we really want to try to get a few more local events. Unfortunately, they were so close that they weren't accepting any more authors for the tables. So I just kind of took a step back and I thought, you know what, right now, cause it's really expensive, even being local, because you're paying for the table and stuff like that, and most of them are within an hour, 2 hours away from us. So, and they're 2-day events, so then you have the hotel stay and all that stuff. So it would be nice to be able to go do them, but hitting that point where you're at the cutoff date and you can't, it was all meant to be. So we just made sure that we bought the table for Utopia for next year. We'll keep an eye out on events and stuff like that, but we have kids at school.
So, and I love writing and I love being able to go on readers and everything else, but my kids, they come first when it's school time. So I'm here, I'm doing the mom thing. While they're learning, I'm writing. And stuff like that, they kind of take a back seat until I can get to a summertime or a break where they're out of school and you can rearrange your time and stuff around. So Utopia is definitely happening next year. If anything else pops up, we're gonna, we'll keep everyone posted through our website and Facebook and stuff like that. But I really want to just focus on getting the next 6 book out, working with Candace on the possibility of the next story if and when we get that. I shouldn't say if, when we sit down to do that, because it's not going to be an if thing. I'm almost positive it's going to happen. Yeah. And then Candace has got 2 smaller kids, and everybody works, so we can't just shuffle the kids around and plop them with people during the school year. So it's good that we're kind of working this out. But I was told that Indie Book Fest is going to be in October of next year, so that one's a possibility.
Yeah,
that one's definitely a possibility, because that one will be right here, like 45 minutes from us.
And now we're on to the quickfire round. So I'm just going to ask you guys some of your favourite things, and you just can answer at the same time or take turns. The first one is favourite food.
Like tacos, nachos, burritos, enchiladas, sign me up on there.
Yep. She's a foodie.
I mean, like, I can keep going. It's not just Spanish, but I'm trying not to, like, bring my inner fat girl out right now. So.
Yeah, but Spanish food's so good. And some Tabasco. Stop it. You're getting me hungry. Next.
Favourite colour?
Blue.
Purple.
Favourite animal?
Turtle.
It used to be. I'm just gonna say manatee. That's what it has been for a while, but I think it's because they did that whole thing where like manatees used to be mermaids, it's like a legend thing, and I like am obsessed with mermaids. I'm obsessed with manatees.
Favorite book?
Ooh.
I don't have just one favorite.
Yeah, it's hard. A favorite. That's like picking out your favorite kid.
No.
Okay, try this one. Favorite movie?
It's another one of those things. I can't just pick one favorite. I have so many like that, and it depends on the mood. That's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm gonna say Moulin Rouge.
Okay,
Just
favorite
because.
drink? It can be hot or cold.
Coffee.
And the last one is favorite restaurant.
Red Lobster.
Mine would be Olive Garden. I'm a pasta fanatic.
And that is it. That's all the questions that I have for you guys.